It's time for me hearties. Kablammy! Oh, God. Ugh. Oh, it gets a bit rougher every week. Hang on a sec. Hello? Yeah? Okay, Dennis, don't worry. I'll tell him about it. Okay, bye. Whew. Once again, from a secret, undisclosed location, hidden somewhere deep in the bowels of historic downtown St. John's, Newfoundland, comes in the Library of Graphic Literature, yay! With your host, me, Wallace Ryan. So, how are you doing today? He says as he sips on some tea there. Oh, but yeah, it's we got comics late this week, and of course I'm even later this week. I must apologize, but it's been a heck of a week. So yeah, I do got a couple of books here. A couple of blasts from the past, so to speak, and a couple of some new stuff for you to peruse. Way out here on the edge of the North American continent, way out into the North Atlantic Ocean, here in St. John's, Newfoundland, it's raining, and it's like 0 degrees, which is basically freezing, but it's raining. So, as a matter of fact, I don't know if you can hear the cars going by on those streets out there, but they are. But good, sensible people like myself are staying inside today. Shag that. Funny enough, I had a shower this morning. It's just like it's a rainy day, which I find kind of brings me down. And then what do I have to feel better? But a shower. Don't ask me. Some delicious organic Earl Grey tea. I know what makes it organic. Anyway, don't forget Thursday Comics. This week's episode was the top 10 creative duos, so it's worth seeing. Next week will be just a news episode. We skipped last week because of technical difficulties, which means that my computer screwed up and just wasn't working. So, but I got it back on and I backed it up too, which, warning out there for all of you who do have backups and the ability to back up stuff, back it up. Because I had a huge bloody external hard drive, which I never used, and I should have used, and I have used now. So, okay. So what are we going to do today? Well, actually, I'm going to put that one to the side for probably towards the end. But like I say, got a couple of books here. It's probably not going to be a long show, but hey, you're here for the quality, not the quantity, right? Okay. Anyways, let's start off today with, from the National Book Award winning cartoonist of March, Nate Powell comes Save It for Later, Promises Parenthood and the Urgency of Protest. Dun 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 dun. Praise for Save It for Later. Gene Luen Yang says it's a deeply personal work by a consummate cartoonist. And yeah, it's basically sounds like a recipe for protesting. I've yet to start to read it here yet, but I mean, anything like that has to be good. Let's see, Save It for Later walks with us through the difficult conversations that we all need to be having right now. Nate Powell's comic is poignant, sincere, deftly illustrated, and moving in every sense. An essential guide for parenting in an age of authoritarianism. Save It for Later is a rallying cry against normalization. This deeply moving book shows us how to stay in the fight and to stay human. In other words, fight the power! Yeah. I mean, geez, I'm over 50 years. And, I still like to, cause trouble and, make it hard for the authorities and fight the power. And it's incumbent on all of us to do it. I mean, think about global warming. All the problems are out there aren't going to solve themselves. So get out there, do up a protest sign, and kick up some crap. Because that's the only way they're going to listen. I myself have kicked up crap for years. I've attended many a protest. I've been assaulted in a protest. I've been on the national news a couple of times because of my protests. I was in I like the one-man protest, because a lot of times one person speaking up against a crowd is the news story. It's not the crowd, because people are bored of crowds anymore. It's the one person out there doing something unusual that catches people's attention. So get out there and protest. Especially global warming. Come on. That to me is the issue of the day. The one, if you're going to protest something, it should be that. But anyway, save it for later. Check it out. I'm going to show you some of the insides of it here. Not going to show you too much because I don't want to give away too much either. But I like the color palette too, how it shifts from red and blue to red and black to blue and black to like an orange and black, back to blue. So yeah, sort of a neat, and gaining a bit more color as it goes along. So yeah, it's definitely pretty cool. Beautifully illustrated, I gotta say. I can't wait to read this one. So remember, and as a matter of fact, don't save it for later. Get out there right now and kick it up. Kick a big school. Old school. Oh, actually, it's a bit warm in here. I'm going to turn down my heat here a bit. Whew. So, yeah. Now, where is my... I seem to be missing my knife that I used to cut up some of the stuff. Now, next, from the fine folks out there at... here we go. From the fine folks at Dark Horse Comics, whom I love, good people out there, comes from the another volume in the ongoing epic that is the EC Archives, comes Shock Illustrated Adult Crime Stories. Dun, 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 dun. Now this one is unusual because it's sort of like, it's a mixture between prose and comics. It's illustrated, but there's a lot of writing to it. So I mean, those of you who don't like to to read, this is probably not going to be your thing. But this was, better keep the, this was all part of, this is the complete run too. It's a Pictofiction. Features the rare lost fourth issue with pencils from Frank President's scripts from an unproduced fifth volume. Hey, that's pretty good, isn't it? So yeah, this is, I guess this is where they started to go after so many of their comics were ruled unfit by the Comics Code Authority. Boo! And yeah, it's worth reading just because, I mean, some great art in it. Jack Kamen, couldn't think of it. Reed Crandall, George Evans, Al Williamson, Reed Crandall, George Evans, all the same people. And unproduced scripts, but yeah, it's kind of worth seeing. This is this was kind of like their attempt to go in a different direction. Pictofiction magazine. It's an interesting way to put it. But so issue it looks pretty good. But yeah, it's I guess it still does qualify as graphic literature. It's comics with typeset. Typesetting, I guess, is the easiest way to put it. Love the cover. And there's the issues there. Let me take off its coat here and bring it up close for you to have a look at it. Oh. Shock Illustrated Stories. Okay, come on. So yeah, it's more like this. So I mean, it is comics in a way, but just with typesetting instead of hand lettering. Now, as a letterer myself, I prefer using hand lettering. And it sort of loses something, I think, in a way. But I mean, I still like this. I mean, the art is fabulous as usual. And like I say, different type of storytelling, stuff like that. So check it out. Especially if you're an EC fan, you got to have the whole set. You can't just pick and choose. Like normal people. Unfortunately, I'm one of those people who can pick and choose. I have to have it all right now. But no, yeah, I'm like one of those sad, completist type of people. Don't blame me. It's just the way I was made. Okay. And in the same vein as Save It For Later, I have here from NBM graphic novels. I'm gonna sip of tea. No. Yeah, there's that one there too. I had to double check, make sure I had it here. From NBM graphic novels, Archard Degruel, Tamba Child Soldier. Dun, 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 dun. On the back it says, "My name is Tamba Child. When I was 8 years old, I lived in the village with my father, my mother, and my sister. I went to school and had learned to read. I knew there was a war in my country, but I didn't know that children could wage it." Providing a testimony to one of the most heart-wrenching and chilling developments in modern warfare. This graphic novel chronicles the realities of hundreds of thousands across the world kidnapped and forced to commit atrocities. So yeah, it's another what I call an eye-opener. Books like this and Save It For Later and the other book I'm going to look at here are eye-openers. They're ones that shine a light on modern society and basically make us think. I mean, I like to be entertained and all that, but occasionally I like to read a comic that with a bit of meat to it, something that means something that when you read it, you've come away a little bit richer than when you approached it. It was like same with Mouse or Palestine by Joe Sacco and any number of books like that. Books that make you think. And like I said, some people say, oh well, shouldn't have politics in comics and all that. And it's just like comics is politics, right? Art is politics. It's art and comics. Besides entertaining, are when it comes right down to it, are about the human condition. And sometimes you got to speak up. You can't just let corporations and the military-industrial complex run our lives for us. Sometimes you got to stand up. It's like my granddaughter said. She'd been watching Hamilton and was watching Les Miserables, and she said to me, she turned to me, and she said, "It's not as much the history part of it into it. I'm in it for the revolution." Way to go. Anyway, let's have a close-up look here. NBM has been around for a long time, of course. Very simple style to this, but I like it. Very bright. So yeah, serious issues brought to a fun art form. And comics, of course, comics should be doing politics because I mean, that's the power of comics. We shouldn't ignore the power of our own art form. Comics has the ability to kick ass and take names, and should be used thusly. Okay, now speaking of one on the total other end of the spectrum, in a way, is Jimmy's Bastards by Garth Ennis, who brought us Preacher and stuff like that. This is it's an interesting take on the sort of secret agent approach, and it features Jimmy Ridge, Britain's #1 super spy, has got it all, and he gets a new partner who's not impressed with him. So it's an interesting comment on modern society, because he's a real pig, and his new partner has to put up with him. And no matter what you think of other people's politics, you have to put up with them in this world. You're not gonna change people by yelling and screaming at them. You're gonna change people by convincing them, by talking to them. To me, there's nothing better than winning someone over to the side of good. It's like seeing people who've converted, say, neo-Nazis and all that, and change them over to fight for their side. Because if you can save someone from a lifetime of hate or whatever, then that's something honorable, I think, right? So we got to reach out, and we got to start bringing people up, into the, and it has nothing to do with left or right. It has to do with right and wrong, and just and morality. It's just like we only have so much time on this earth. Why do some people have just to make it so much of a pain? Anyway, Jimmy's Bastards. I'm still in the middle of reading this, but it's funny. The artist in this, he's funny enough. He kind of reminds me of Dylan. So I wonder if, even unconsciously, if Ennis picked him because of the sort of Dylan-esque look to his artwork. But yeah, it's one of these things. I'm not sure if I love it or I hate it. But a lot of times, some of the best books out there are ones you're not sure if you love or hate. And anything can bring out that visceral response. It's going to be an interesting read. Now, back to eye-openers once again, especially in this day of, this is an older book I thought I'd highlight, especially in light of a lot of anti-Asian American bias and attacks in the States and stuff like that. I thought let's explore something from their point of view. And the perfect one, and I've been meaning, I haven't been able to get this in hardcover, but I did find a softcover edition, and I am going to read it, or I am reading it. It's from Gene Luen Yang. It's American-born Chinese. So yeah, it's so far. I mean, I'm only a little bit into it, but so far it's I don't know. It's a great book. We need more eye openers like this. We need more books from every part of society. It's like I talk to people about the difference from when I was a kid and today. In terms of, you talk about inclusion in comics, or exclusion. When I was growing up, I mean, there were only 2 women in comics, Marie Severin and Ramona Fredon, and it was just like everyone else. It was all men. It was a sausage fest. Well, except for Jeanette Kahn. And and it started with in the 70s like that. I really do link it to Jeanette Kahn's taking over DC Comics, and slowly but surely over the following years, she got brought in Karen Berger and set up Vertigo Comics with her, and started bringing in comics that weren't just for boys or men, but comics for everyone. No art form can subsist on 50% of the population, and that was one of the weaknesses I always felt when I was younger with comics. But today, it's a lot better. I mean, today we have a lot of female writers and artists, a lot of women buying comics. My granddaughter, she loves graphic novels. I call them Daughters of the Sandman. A lot of the younger readers, because their moms were the ones who read Sandman in the 90s, and are getting their kids into it, and it's a good thing. It's never a bad thing. So the more women in comics, the better in my mind. Welcome aboard, everyone. So yeah, if you ever see any of these people bad mouthing women writers or whatever, tell them to shut the beep up. And it's just because I've read some stuff like Gail Simone's Red Sonja, for instance. Now there is a real kick comic. It's it's beautifully written, got violence, all kinds of stuff thrown in that even us guys like and all that. But it's just a beautifully written comic. Noelle Stevenson's Nimona, an amazing freaking comic. So get out there and read it. And also, like I say, spread your wings, try other ones, and try anything from Gene here. He's done a lot of great stuff in terms of graphic novels and even other stuff. He's he's won all kinds of awards. This one has won actually all kinds of awards. The Best Graphic Novel of the Year from Amazon, NPR Holiday Pick, San Francisco Chronicle Best Book of the Year, Publishers Weekly Best Book of the Year, American Library Association Best Book for Young Adults, Top 10 list. So yeah, I started to read it, and I love it. I'm still working my way through, but I'm already loving it. And you know that if you're reading a comic and you're into it and you're loving it within the first 10 pages and you find it hard to put it down to get to sleep last night like I did, then it's a good comic. So, let's have a quick look at this, and then I'll let you all get about your business. But beautiful, beautiful style. I like the style. I like the fact that the page is there. It's all in the middle with this little symbol up there, or writing. I'm not sure what it is. But it's neat. It's even the design of it has sort of an exotic feel to it. So yeah, get out there, have a read of this, and hug your Asian American neighbors. They're wonderful folks. I lived in Chinatown, actually, in New York a few years ago, and I loved it. I had a great time there. Fabulous place to live. I really miss it too, actually. But anyway, I guess that's it for this week. Once again, check out Thursday Comics, our top 10 creative duos. Check out our, next week's. Check out next week's episode of In the Library of Graphic Literature, and check out our Library of Graphic Literature Facebook page. It's great. It's a great place to go if you want suggestions for some cool books to read. I mean, I've gotten suggestions from people in the comment section. I treat the comment section of these videos like a letters page, so I do try to respond to every single comment. And a lot of times people will make suggestions, and I'll go out and I'll buy a book based on a suggestion. And same too with the Facebook page. People are talking, because the Facebook page, as I've said many times, we only talk about the comics we love. So you're going to get a higher level of recommendation compared to a lot of other Facebook groups and pages and stuff like that where they're just spend most of their time arguing and bad mouthing each other. It's like, screw that. Let's talk about the comics we love. Let's bring some love into comics. That's why my Twitter handle is Reverend Love, because I love comics. And it's part of my mission to bring them to you. Anyway, that being said, I'll see you in a week's time. Keep on reading, and as usual, thanks for having me over. Oh my God! Oh! There's that book. Love y'all. Ah!